Hey guys, what is up? Mike here. Thanks for tuning in to another video. In this video, I want to go over the most common questions that you'll be asked in a UX designer interview. All right. One of the most rewarding things I get from posting videos like this on YouTube is when people hit me up, they send me emails about how they took a little nugget from one of my videos centered around interviewing and it helped them ace their interview. So take this information, study it, practice it, prepare, and you'll do good, guaranteed, in your interview. All right, it's all about confidence. But also, I have in my laptop here, I'm going to go over the questions, but I also provided a PDF link. I'm actually typed it up. So use in the description, watch this video, but afterwards give it a like, and then just download the PDF there, and you can have it available to you and print it out. All right. Anyway, the first question that you always get in an interview is, tell us about yourself. Right. This is like the most common question that you get, whether it's the initial call from a recruiter or the hiring manager or whatnot. Right. It's like, tell us about yourself. This is the time you take. You talk about your current role, your current situation, what you're doing at your job, and some of the companies you worked for in the past. You want to be brief, but then allow the conversation to go deeper into the weeds and get more specific if you need to. You never want to be long-winded initially in all your answers. You want to be brief and then allow the conversation to go into the weeds, if you understand what I'm talking about. The second question, you'll probably get something along the lines of, can you walk us through your portfolio? This is when you have the opportunity to walk through one or two projects in your portfolio. Again, you don't you don't want to be long-winded. You don't want to be like, hey, this is my chance to go 30 minutes in. No, just briefly talk about, start off with, your favorite projects, and then walk them through, the things you were trying to solve with each project, right? Kind of provide a summary. If the person that's interviewing you want you to go deeper into a specific page or design of that project, that's when you get more specific. But you just kind of scan them through, talk about what you did here, what you're trying to solve there, for this project, and then from this one you were trying to solve this and that. And then that might be enough, right? The interviewer might be okay with just you kind of talking through briefly with your projects, but then allow them to take you deeper into specific details. Don't get so long-winded, because that's not probably what they want to begin with. They don't want you to go on for 20 minutes, right? Unless they actually give you instructions to do so. The next question, tell us about a project you're proud of. You might get something like this, talk about a project you're proud of. This is when, you can really look back and go, I was proud of this project because I was able to, do X, Y, and Z. I was able to work on a mobile device, and the team was very strong. We worked as a little agile group, and we really were successful in this project, right? You just kind of go into, a brief summary on why you felt that project was successful, or why you liked it, why you enjoyed it. The second one would be, tell us about a project that was challenging. You might get this question. This is your time to be honest, because everyone is human and everyone goes through projects that they don't like. You want to kind of briefly talk about that, but then talk about how you might have improved that project. What would you have done to make it better, right? That's always a good thing for a question like that. The next question, what are some of the tools you use in your daily work, right? This is a favorite one, or this could be a common one for some companies. This is where you talk about all your favorite tools. Hey, I work primarily in Sketch and InVision. You always want to mention the Adobe Suite, right? Companies always want to make sure that you're aware of that. So even if you don't use it daily, hey, I'm proficient in the Adobe Suite, etc. You also want to, whether you use Adobe XD, Figma, Acture, whatever it is, just talk about those. But in this scenario, in this question, you always want to touch on your collaboration tool, your favorite #1 collaboration tool. Mine, obviously, is InVision. So that kind of gets them aware of, hey, you actually use a tool that actually involves them, right? So Envision is a prototyping tool that is used to collaborate with developers, product owners, stakeholders, etc., business leaders. They want to hear that. They just want you're in a silo by yourself. Talk about your favorite prototyping collaboration tool, whatever it may be. All right, it doesn't have to be Envision, but Envision is one of the leading ones that are out there. Talk about that tool that you use to get everybody involved and what you might do with that. All right, so that's regarding the tools. The next question, what's your process going into a project, right? They might want to understand your process. This is when you talk about, this is when you can just summarize your process, your approach to starting every project. Now, there's no right and wrong answer to this. They just want to get to know how you go about, a project, and what's your ideal project. Now, every company has their own way of doing things. Some will say, we do this, this. That's why there's no right and wrong. It's all about just getting to know how you might approach things, and they just want to feel out your thought process. The other one is, your involvement. The other question is, what's your involvement with user studies and or UX research, right? So they want to know what involvement you have there. Are you hands deep in UX research? Are you, making calls to, surveying customers, getting them in? Are you conducting and running any usability studies and things like that, user tests? If you are, talk about that. If you aren't, what is your involvement? Do you work hand in hand with a UX researcher, such as what I do? I'm always involved. We're observing, we're taking notes, we're asking questions, at the end of the usability studies. But for the most part, it's not my hands-on day-to-day, so you'll talk about that, but just talk about your involvement, your understanding of, and your working relationship with UX researchers and the importance of UX research. All right, that's important there. The other question would be like, what's your style or relationship with developers? This is a vital question because the big part of your job is actually building relationship with developers. You're going to be working with front-end developers throughout your tenure there on the job. So it's a vital part of the role. You always want to talk about your ability to build strong relationships with your front-end developers. I know I do throughout my career, and you always want to touch on that. It's important to build that strong relationship so that you can really be efficient and get things done, right? If you touch on that, whether you're speaking with a group of people, there might be an engineer, developer there, they want to hear that, that you kind of, it's not just, you're not going in there Steve Jobs, hey, this is how we should design things, please code it, right? You want to have that back and forth where both sides have some input into the design. So you want to kind of touch on that, right? But building strong relationships with your developers is key, right? It's a vital part of the role. So always touch on that. The other one, you might do some whiteboarding. You might get a question like going to the whiteboard and how would you solve this problem? How would you solve X? They'll give you a little description of the problem and they just want to hear your thought process. And again, this is no right and wrong. It's just a matter of how you would think through things. A little example of that is just start by asking questions, right? And then asking questions and getting to the root of the problem, right? Talk about that in your process, and then from there you can say, this is based on understanding the problem, this is how we might solve this. Now at the end of the day, we don't know if this is the best possible solution. We can verify that through testing, but this is how I might do this for X, Y, and Z reasons, right? Just a little exercise on the whiteboard that you might be asked to do. The other one is, how do you deal with senior leaders that are adamant about a decision or idea, right? This is a biggie because every company has senior leaders that are stubborn, right? Every company. You worked on a project, you show it to the stakeholders. That one person who's in charge, like, I don't like this. Can we do it this way? Or why are you doing it this way, right? How do you approach that particular situation? I've had it throughout my career. I'm sure you've had it throughout your career. What's the best way you feel to approach that situation? There's no right and wrong, but for the most part, You know, a lot of times you might not have, you might be handcuffed into what you can do, but for the most part, you just want to present reasonable solutions and to educate that senior leader, right? That might be a solution, right? And most of the time, senior leaders are very smart and they will be receptive to good validations. Like, so if you can show them with analytics and data and things like that, then they'll be good. They'll be good to go. But if you're just kind of thinking out of, you know, on the top of your head, they're going to inject their ideas based on that, right? So you have to show them facts and data. Anyway, that's the last one. And the last question that you get in every interview is, do you have any questions for us, right? The interviewer will ask you, you know, thanks for your time. Do you have any questions for us? As I mentioned, all my interviewing tips videos, this is your opportunity to not really ask questions, unless you really have one, but take the opportunity to sell yourself. Talk about your appreciation for them bringing you in and how much you're passionate for, you know, for this opportunity, and how you feel you would be an asset to the company, and that, you know, you're the best candidate for this role. So it's basically you're selling yourself so that you're leaving that interview without any question of a doubt that you want this job. Anyway, that's it, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this. This was informative. If you are embarking on an interview up and coming, study these questions, watch the video over again, download the PDF, and you know, ace your interview. All right, like the video, share the video. If you want to learn more about UI UX design, visit my site, ML UX Academy. That's where I teach UI UX design and provide online training videos for anyone that's looking to get started in this industry. And yeah, you can get started, start changing your careers and improving your skills today. All right, thanks for watching, guys. If you have any questions, leave me a comment or visit my site and use the contact link to ask me any questions. I'll be happy to answer those for you. All right, we'll talk soon, guys. Peace.